Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back. Again, as always, we are welcome that you are here this morning as we're studying the life of Elijah. We had talked about the last couple weeks how he was on a mountaintop, a high spot, things were going great, and then a valley. He got discouraged and he got overwhelmed, and God met his physical needs. After God has met his physical needs, God helped to turn his focus to serving others. Boys and girls, we made the point, and it was repeated in two verses, or said in one and repeated in another, that Elijah felt like he was all alone. Boys and girls, sometimes we feel like that. Sometimes we feel like we're the only one who's doing what's right, or we're the only one who cares about a certain thing or certain people. Boys and girls, but you know what? We're not the only one. That which can be encouraging, okay? You're not the only one who's trying to do what's right. Sometimes it may feel like that at school. Everybody else in class might be talking, or everybody else might be making fun of someone. But boys and girls, you're never the only one. God is always with you, and he wants you to do what's right. We're going to find out that Elijah wasn't the only one, and it wasn't just one other person either. In verse 16, it says, "And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel, and Elisha, the son of Shaphat of Abel Maholah, shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy room." Boys and girls, we had said God gave him a job. Verse 15, he was to go and anoint one king, Hazael, to be the king over Syria. Then in verse 16, he's supposed to anoint Jehu to be the king over Israel. And then he says, anoint Elisha. He is going to be your replacement. He is going to be the next prophet. But then I mentioned, boys and girls, he wasn't alone. If you've looked ahead at verse 18, there's a pretty big number of people who were also following God. Verse 18, "Yet have I left of me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him." Boys and girls, Elijah wasn't alone. There were 7,000 other people who had not followed Baal. There were 7,000 other people who were still following God and doing what was right. It wasn't just Elijah. Even though he felt like it, there are sometimes, boys and girls, we do feel like we're alone. I'm not discounting that feeling. But boys and girls, we're not. If you feel like you're alone, find a friend who encourages you in doing what's right. Find a godly friend who wants to follow God and serve him together. Verse 19 says, "So he departed thence and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12th. And Elijah passed by him and cast his mantle upon him." So Elisha, now it's going to be a tongue twister and a mental game for me. Elisha, who is supposed to be Elijah's replacement, he is taking care of the fields. He's got his yoke of oxen, and Elisha comes walking by, takes his mantle, kind of think of like a jacket or a robe, and throws it over top of him. Boys and girls, if you play this picture in your head, it seems kind of funny. Like you're out there working, you're plowing, and then somebody think of throwing like a sheet over your head. It seems kind of odd, right? Highly ineffective. You can't see where you're going. The oxen are going to get confused, but that's what I just picture it as a chaotic scene in my head. Not that the Bible says that, but so he gets the mantle off of his head, gets it off of him. Verse 20, "And he left the oxen and ran after Elijah." So Elisha takes it off and he runs after him. He doesn't wait. He doesn't delay. He takes off after him. "Let me, I pray thee, kiss my father and my mother, then I will follow thee." And he said unto him, "Go back again, for what have I done unto thee?" Elisha chases down Elijah, which is kind of funny to me too, that Elisha threw it on him and then kept walking. But Elisha chases down Elijah, and he's like, "Wait, hold on, I'll follow you, but can I go back and say goodbye to my mom and dad? Can I go kiss them goodbye? Can I go say goodbye and then follow you?" And Elijah's like, "Yes, go ahead. You can go back. You can say goodbye to them." So he does that. In verse number 21, "And he returned back from him and took a yoke of oxen and slew them and boiled their flesh with the instruments of the oxen and gave unto the people, and they did eat. Then he arose and went after Elijah and ministered unto him." So he goes back, takes care of a few items of business, sees his parents, takes care of some needs of some people, feeds them, and then he follows Elijah. And that chapter wraps up with he ministered unto him. Boys and girls, Elisha did what he could to help Elijah, to assist him. He went from working in the fields to being Elijah's assistant. And he did what God wanted for him to do. God wanted him to leave his family and to follow Elijah and to learn from him. Elijah was not alone. Oftentimes we have a pity party. We're so focused on ourselves that we think we're the only person having a hard time. Look around you, boys and girls. There are needs all around you. Take time to serve others. Don't be so focused on yourself. Take the time to serve others and get the focus off yourself. Elisha followed God. So we've got Elijah with our focus here today being to serve others. Don't keep the focus on yourself, but do what God asked you to do, just like God asked Elijah to anoint these people. And then Elisha followed God. He gave up everything to follow Elijah. He left it behind. He left his family and he went to follow Elijah. What is it that you aren't willing to give up for God? What is it that is a higher priority in your life than following God? Or food. Peter's is food. Not going to give up his bamboo to follow God, I guess. So, boys and girls, with that, Elisha gave up everything, and he gave it up to minister, to serve Elijah. Look around you this week. See who you can serve. It can be as simple as holding the door open for someone. Maybe you can help a smaller child carry something. Maybe you see an adult carrying something, and you can offer to help carry it. Or again, hold the door open. Find some way that you can serve, that you can help out. Ask your teacher what you can do in the classroom. Ask mom and dad what you can do to help, to serve. Help out your brothers and sisters. That might be the hardest one. Sometimes it's easier to help at school when other people are around and harder to help at home. But look and see who you can minister to, who you can be a help to, who you can be kind to this week, boys and girls. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.